Happy New Year everyone and welcome! I'm starting the year with swatching these stackable watercolor paints. These are cheap watercolor paints and the reason I got them is because they resemble my first watercolor set when I started card making and I simply wanted to have them. These ones are from the shop Søstrene Grene. They cost me around €5, which is similar in dollars. The ones I got originally were from Flying Tiger. Both shops are from Denmark, so it is possible they might be the same. I'm going to start with a swatch and then I'm gonna do a test coloring and painting. These paints do not have any names, so I cannot give you any information about the colors. They were not Christmas present. I bought them last year in the summer. Luckily, I also filmed the video around that time, because right now it is very grey outside and it makes filming more challenging. And I'm also happy I had this video. I don't know how about you, I don't feel crafty after Christmas. The hectic of making Christmas cards just drains my creativity, and with this ugly weather, I'm not feeling inspired. But creating a swatch is always fun, so if you have new coloring supplies, I highly recommend swatching them. And I will have a new card in my next video, which reminds me, I have a new schedule. I wanted to decrease the amount of videos I make, and I was playing with the idea every other week or every 10 days. And I decided to do a video every 10 days on a day that ends with 5. I don't think many of you watch my video regularly, so it doesn't really affect you. And this is just a test, I don't know if I will like it. Anyways, here is the finished swatch. My first thoughts were how vibrant the colors are. At least in comparison to the craft watercolors from Lidl that I swatched in another video. The little ones are vibrant as well, but when I painted with them, they were a little bit dull. These ones are much better. However, I would not recommend them. Why? Because they are extremely chalky. This is normal for craft paints, but these are very, very chalky and dry. But I don't want to be too negative. So I'm gonna start with the test coloring. I printed a flower that I colored, and then I will paint a simple branch with leaves. And while I'm doing that, let's talk more about these paints and craft paints in general. As I said, I don't want to be too negative, because I don't have recollection of these paints being bad when I used them at the beginning. It might be because I never painted before, I mean as an adult, so I did not know better. I also upgraded very quickly, but I never looked back thinking, oh my god, these paints were so bad and these new paints are much better. I actually bought the new paints because at that time a lot of crafters were using this specific brand, which caught my eye. So even though these paints are chalky and I would not recommend them, if that is your only choice, you can definitely paint with them. I like to watch videos where watercolor artists recommend supplies for beginners, and most of the time they recommend the professional stuff and nothing else. And the professional stuff is really expensive. So pretty much, if you cannot afford this stuff, the message is, don't bother. Watercoloring is not for you. I wonder if they actually realize that this is the message they are sending. My advice is buy what you can afford, because the other option is not to paint at all. Just make sure you are buying paper that is made for watercoloring and that it is thick. On the cover should be written 300 GSM or 140 pounds. And just be aware if you are using craft paints or cheap paints that you are not getting the best quality and certain things might not just work with them. And you can always upgrade to student quality paints or professional artist paints. As I said, you can paint with these. I was happy with the coloring of the flower and here with the painting of the leaves. The paint was a little bit blotchy, but that didn't bother me. My only problem really was the chalkiness, that's all. And especially because they were much chalkier than the Lidl paints. If the chalkiness was the same as with the Lidl paints, they would be pretty good. I will show you the rest of the painting of this leaf because I had a lot of fun and after I'm done, I will show you the cards I made. So after I was done with the painting, I made these into cards. I added greeting, I painted the edges using the gold paint, and I added splatter. And I adhered the panels on top of a white card base. And despite not liking the paints, I will definitely give them to someone because I do like the result. If you would like to see the video where I swatched the little watercolors, just click on the video on the screen. And in the description, I included a link to a playlist with all of my swatch videos. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you in my next video.